Welcome back to the Star Wars Station. We are here to talk today about Star Wars Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade by Delilah S. Dawson. This book's going to come out on July 18th, so in just a few days. But Colin and I both had the awesome opportunity to read this book early, and so I wanted to give you guys my spoiler-free thoughts on the novel. So the story follows the lives of two Jedi, but mainly one, who is turned into an Inquisitor, and this book traces a line through the prequels and the early years of the Empire, so telling the story of how someone can go from Jedi to Inquisitor. And so I've been really fascinated with the Inquisitors since their introduction in Rebels back in 2014, and so aside from this being a story about fallen Jedi and the Inquisitors, the other cool aspect is this is also a love story. This is really, really similar to Lost Stars by Claudia Gray for me. The way the author has threaded the two main characters' love for each other in and out of huge events in the prequels is exactly like Sienna and Thane being woven into the original trilogy. And so it really, really worked for me. The entire relationship was full of sparks, it was full of these big moments, and we got to see our characters change with how the galaxy changed at that time. I went into this story a little bit hesitant, but I was open to the concept. Because with a lot of these stories over the past years we've gotten, they take place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and I was concerned that this story wasn't following a very familiar character. We've gotten a lot of books in the past years about individual characters that do really deep dive studies into them, and I'm more partial to large cast Star Wars books, like the High Republic, like the Fate of the Jedi series, like the Legacy of the Force series from Legends, all of those kinds of books. And so I was really, really skeptical about a novel set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, about an Inquisitor who we didn't really know anything about. I mean, she showed up in 2 issues of a comic book, and that was it. She's a no-name Inquisitor. But I am super pleased to say that my concerns were totally unwarranted, and this book provides super, super insightful details on an era that we're already pretty familiar with. And so anytime that they can add to that era, to that time period for Star Wars, it's a really, really cool thing. And I'm very, very happy to be able to get to read something like that. And so the story is really, really centered around the main character, Iscata Karis. Like I said, this is kind of a character study. It's about one person. And so it's about her navigating her relationship with the Jedi, the Force, and most importantly, who she is. The story is really heavily centered around the main character, Iscata Karis, as she tries to navigate her relationship with the Jedi, with other Jedi, with the Force, and most importantly, with who she is. The story also gives us quite a bit of insight into the inner workings of the Jedi and, for the first time, the Inquisitorius, and what the day-to-day life of an Inquisitor is like. And so this is something that I think fans have wanted for a long time, and with the huge chunk of Inquisitor content that we have gotten over the last 10 years or so, it is really nice to fill in some blanks there, because the Inquisitors are a huge part of the Star Wars canon now. There's a bunch of them. They've been in so many stories that getting to see inside the Inquisitorius, the parallel to the Jedi Order at this time, was really, really insightful. So, Delilah S. Dawson tackles some extremely important issues like mental health and suicide in this book, but she does it in a gentle and insightful way. She doesn't downplay the seriousness of those feelings, and I really wouldn't have guessed that we were going to get some writing like that and some commentary on these things in a Star Wars book. But we're really lucky that we did, because I think Dawson does a great job of connecting with readers who may have these issues, who may have these feelings, and I hope that the fans are going to resonate with that, and I thought that she did a very good job. And throughout the book, as we become endeared to Iscat, we can really feel her struggle. We can see the lack of support that the Jedi Order is providing her. Like, there's a lot that we can see in Iscat's downfall, and that you can really feel as the reader. So, all of that said, I really enjoyed this book. It was a really, really good read. It was fun. It was a Star Wars story, like I said, that I didn't know I needed, but that was really enjoyable. One of the best books that's come out in a while, and so I really enjoyed, just diving into it. It wasn't Delilah S. Dawson's first Star Wars book. If you've enjoyed this one, you should go check out her other work, like her Star Wars Phasma book. And with any luck, we're going to have Dawson continuing to write these stories, continuing to bring these stories to us. And if you want to see the conclusion to Iskat's story, that actually happens in the pages of a comic book, Darth Vader 2017, issues 19 and 20 by Charles Soule. And so if you really liked Iskat's character, you want to see how the story ends, you should really go check out those comic books. Or if you want to know more about the business mentioned at the beginning of the book, you should check out Mike Chen's Brotherhood novel. There's just a lot of really good Star Wars books that this one is threaded throughout. And so, those are my spoiler-free thoughts on Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade by Delilah S. Dawson. If you want to hear more about the book, then you got to check out our regular podcast on July 20th for an in-depth, spoiler-filled review by Colin and I. And if you want to read the book yourself, it's going to be hitting shelves on July 18th, 2023. So, until next time, stay wizard.